You're welcome.
And we are back for another live episode of the Kingdom. Welcome to our viewers across this beautiful country of ours, Manitoba, Sask, Alberta, BC, Newfoundland, and across the world, wherever you're watching from. We're glad to have you here tonight. We got some Caesars, we got some illness, and talking some Ryder Cup, more golf, and hopefully some segments tonight. So buckle up, pour yourself a beer, and if I can find this thing here. There she is. We'll see you in 30 seconds.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kingdom. As always, my name is Drums, and I'm joined by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. As we always do, we send it up north, see what's going on with our boy Reg. How you doing, buddy?
Boys, I'm in a battle here.
Scrapping.
Scrapping with some kind of sickness. I don't know. It seems to be taking over my body, but I'm not doing too well. Jay's lost 2 straight, getting sick. Not great. But
So are they done now?
Yeah.
Good night, Susan.
Might be, I'm not going to say that.
How's your testosterone, Reggie?
I'm tired of cheering for those fucking losers. Do you guys really saw what happened today, man? It was the biggest joke
to my life.
of history. Barrios was pitching today. Did you guys see any highlights or anything?
I saw some stuff on Twitter.
He let in 3 hits, no earned runs in 3 innings, and they pulled him for Kikuchi because he was a lefty, and they had some lefties coming up that they wanted out of the lineup. Kikuchi comes in, gives up 2 runs. They lose 2-0, but in the inning after Kikuchi gives those runs up, it was the 4th, I believe. No, it would have been the 5th. Springer singles and Vladdy walks, and there's a wild pitch. So there's a guy on second and third with 2 outs, and Bo's got a full count, and Vladdy gets picked off on second base.
That's such a Vladdy thing to do.
His pops wouldn't have got caught.
Like, that happens in maybe like Mosquito or senior baseball. Not the MLB. Like, just, oh man, I don't know. That's peak
tough.
Frustration anyways. This is probably the most frustrating one ever. But actually last year was probably more frustrating. I'm starting to feel your pain, Drums.
It's a problem when you cheer for Toronto teams. You're in for a world of hurt, no matter what sport it is.
Very tough.
Joran, it's happening out in Rossburn. I must have Rossburn. You're a tweener.
And the municipality of Rossburn. Top of the evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to be here. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to shove a pickled bean down my throat right before you were about to intro me.
I didn't realize until I threw to you either that you were munching away.
My logic there was I had nowhere else to put it. I tried putting it on the rim here, but it was too small, so I had to scarf her.
All right.
Not much happening here. Last week it was quiet. This week it's even quieter. Went for a little walk this afternoon. It's been raining here like the last couple of days, so I didn't do too much outside. But man, walked past the course. It is green. The the greens are just like pristine, and it's such a shame that we have to shut things down here in a couple of weeks. The clubhouse is already closed. Pins are still in, but I'm going to try to get a couple more rounds in out here for sure while we can. But by the sounds of it, honestly, like we're going to have Shanks driving range. I've heard a couple rumors about different sims opening up in this area. And Minnedosa, they're going to have a little winter league, I think, there this year. I don't know if that's public knowledge or not, but that's kind of the rumors I'm hearing. So as they are rumors, still get you a little excited, but it's a good weekend of golf. I love the Ryder Cup, my favorite event of the year. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We got a little bit of golf housekeeping. We'll do a Ryder Cup. Our take on it, we'll hear some from some people on Instagram, and then do some segments at the end, hopefully see what's going on in the golf world and otherwise. So, Drummy, you got a nice shirt on tonight.
Well, thank you.
Pink?
I'm not sure. Can't decide if it's pink or red, but it's in between, I guess. Over here, same thing. It's been pretty rainy. It's been kind of gross. Colder today. It was actually a pretty decent weekend. We started doing cleanup at the lake, getting everything ready, locking up the camper, that type of thing. Actually, we had a social on Saturday night that we got to, so a little fun was had. Other than that, not much happened over here. Yeah.
God, I don't even remember the last social I went to. Reggie's, maybe?
Probably.
Can't be. Could it be?
I can't think of the last one before this one either.
That might be my
It couldn't have been Reggie's. No.
I think so.
Chesy's in the house. Roscoe's in the house. The boys
How was your guys' trip up to Madge?
Well, it depends who you ask.
No, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. We ended up playing with Stikey, Derek Stikilo, and Snoopaloop. So it was good to see those boys.
I'm guessing
and Madge was really, really good shape and a lot better than I remember it for sure. I think the time that we were there, though, it was really dry. And I don't know if it was just the season it was, but I just remember it being really like mangy. I didn't really stand out too much in my head, but this time I was like, okay, this is actually a pretty damn nice course. It's out in the middle of BFE, but it was good. Hopefully I'll get the footage from Reggie this weekend and we'll post it on the Instagram sometime soon, but it was a tight one. Came down on the last hole. I shouldn't even say that, but who cares? It was a good match. Actually, Reggie and I probably did a lot better than we had anticipated going into that match.
I would say so.
Nice.
They're both pretty good golfers, and Snoop plays there quite a bit, and Stike's kind of a regular. They're once a year, maybe regular kind of guy. So me and Reggie were kind of blind, but they were helpful, and so it was good. Good company, good day. And no hangovers for the first, I shouldn't say the first time ever, but a rare occasion to see Reggie without a hangover on or Saturday, whatever it was.
Yeah, this is actually this is probably what I get for having a sober weekend for the first time in I don't know how long. Just get sick as hell the next week. Like my body's like going into shock that I didn't get in one on the weekend. It's kind of it's a different.
Hey, we're missing something here.
Yeah, what's going on here, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good day though. That course is mint. Greens were punched. Hardly ever know it. They grew back in pretty good. Yeah, it was sweet. I'm the same as you, Drew. I wasn't too impressed with the last couple times I played there, but this time was definitely a different experience. And I feel like right now, I think that not taking anything away from the course, I think any course that you play right now in this area of the province is probably in probably the best shape it's been in a while. Just with all the timely rain and timely sun we've had in the last month and a half has been pretty good. And like you said, Jor, it's always a shame at this time of year to put the courses away like this. But I mean, it's got to be done in order to preserve them, I guess. But geez, they're so good right now.
It's kind of nuts. I mean, we got a ton of golf pictures, videos, everything you could imagine, content-wise on the little hard drive here, and it's fun just looking through pictures. And when you're golfing, you don't really realize it, but in the spring, like everything's just so bare and there's no leaves on the trees. You're just happy to be out there golfing. But the courses are not in good shape at all in the spring. But you're just like glad to be there. So you don't really give a shit. And then summer slowly starts getting better. And then at this time of the year, it's just like pristine. Everything's grown in, everything's green. So it is what it is. That's what we get for living here, along with a few other things. But let's start the show with some cheers. So this is the new segment we got going. The start of every show, we're going to cheer somebody locally or globally for doing something good. So what is it this week, Reggie? You're the one who brought this up last week on the show. You might be on mute. Yep. Oh, still on mute.
Sorry, boys.
You all right over there? Or?
I just put on mute. Sonny and Siwoo, gun to their head, literally, literally gun to their head, came through. That Sung J tracker is unreal. I retweeted some of his tweets on the weekend. Some of the pictures he posts with Sonny's face on them is like, I had some good laughs. Our sweet prince, he always calls him. And they came through. They won the gold, so they are exempt from military service. That's unreal, man.
That is amazing, yeah.
Yeah. That was the top story of the weekend for sure.
Okay, like if they go on to win, let's say like 3 majors each in their lifetime, do you think that's still going to be like regarded to them like as their biggest win?
Oh,
or, like
yeah.
most clutch?
That's true, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be for me. I would be so pumped.
Like they got some good scores too, man. Like they didn't just like limp across the finish line. Like they
kind of smoked them, didn't
they? Yeah.
It's such a crazy like thought experiment though. Like even for me, like my age, never thought about going to the military or anything. But imagine like you're just a citizen in whatever country you're in, and you have to go to military service, and you have the option of winning a golf tournament or going to fight in the war or in the military. But like for me, if I had to take a year off, not only to not golf for one, but also to go serve in the military, like that would be an unthinkable thought for me. And my life doesn't rely, like I don't earn income from golf. I don't golf every day. So imagine like the pressure and the thoughts and everything going through their head leading up to that event. Just be so crazy. They had to have known that they had a good chance of winning it, but yeah, there he is. Sonny and Siwoo. Hold her off. So let's have a cheers for Sanjay M and Siwoo Kim dodging the military and continuing the golf.
Oh yeah.
Salute.
Pretty good news for the President's Cup next year too, because they would have been out for that.
True. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have had to do it this upcoming year. I think they just have to do it, right?
Well, they have. So I think like the mandatory, you have to do the mandatory 2 years before you're 30. So like you can kind of dictate when you want to go in.
Right.
So cheers to those boys.
As we're on that, I think we also cheers the trackers too, because they were on fire all week.
True. I'll cheers
every tracker there is. Yeah.
The more cheers, the better, I would say.
Yes.
Let's talk about AC.
Yeah, I was going to say his favorite tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
The Alfred Dunhill Links Championship held at St. Andrews, Carnoustie, and Kingsbarns. It's the 54-hole cut. Said it's his favorite tournament ever. I think he's kicking things off at St. Andrews at 3:30 in the morning. Our time, obviously. Not his time. He took the whole family over there, so he'll be in a different mindset. I saw he took his daughter on the flight to Scotland. They're out for just a walk the other night, just walking St. Andrews as a family. It's kind of
not a big deal.
Yeah. Just take the baby for a walk out on St. Andrews. Pretty cool life.
Drummy, Kenny wants to know what you're drinking.
These are called vodka waters. They're made by Cottage Springs Beverage Co. Just straight up vodka and water. No carbonation, no sugar.
Just vodka water.
That's it.
Just a savage
That's all I got.
drink.
Speaking of drinks, after last week, I think I might be banned from drinking whiskey on show.
Yeah. I would agree.
I just I can't speak. I lose my thought. I lose my words. I mean, I'm not the best speaker in any state of mind, but with whiskey, I don't know what it is. Especially, I mean, whiskey with buddies and stuff where it doesn't really matter, but whiskey on like live podcasts.
Remember the Caesar, the whiskey Caesar you were crushing that one day?
That one really got me.
Yeah,
you
were on another
you
planet.
Were banged up. Yeah.
From one?
Yeah.
Had to have been one because I wouldn't bring two.
Yeah, I don't think you did two. Because somebody mentioned it on here, I think. Isn't that how you got into it? I can't remember.
I don't know. This is vodka anyways. We'll stick to the vodkas in the short term anyways. Till I forget about it. Then I'll probably have another whiskey in a couple months and then realize I shouldn't be drinking it. So
we'll cut you off next time.
Well, too late. You're not here for the prep. So it's 54 hole cut, and then what happens for the last 18, Reggie?
It's just at St. Andrews.
So they play one at each of the three, and then the final round's at St. Andrews?
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's such a sweet event.
It's basically the European version of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, right? It's kind of the same type of deal.
Do they play with celebs too?
I think so, right? No?
Oh, yeah? I don't know.
I thought this is where he played with that cool guy last year. Yeah, I think so, because that it is a Pro-Am, because the guy that what's his name there? The live guy.
The who?
The live guy.
Oh, yeah. That's a good...
He changed his name to play in the tourney. Or he's playing the tourney and it just changed, like his name's different. What the hell's his name? I don't even know his name.
It has to be.
Okay, I don't know, so he's like... It's like the Saudi guy. He registered for the tournament under an alias so he could get in, and then he showed up, and they were like, "Oh, well, just play under your name, you Momo."
Momo. Okay, here's a question for you: do celebrities have to pay to play?
I'm gonna say no.
I would think that they would just get invited.
They get something.
You think they're receiving money for going? I don't think
they
so.
get something.
I think the sponsors would probably pay them.
I feel like
that's all. That's all the Pro-Ams are, just like sponsorship, generate money any way you can. Throw the biggest celebrity with the biggest wallet in the tournament and see what he can wring out of them.
I feel like they need to change that with even St. Andrews, like the best course in the world. Why aren't they? I don't know. Pebble Beach, like you get to see it for the Pro-Am and that's it. And once in a while in a U.S. Open, seems like a waste of a course. But at the same time, the preparation that goes into hosting those events takes away from people being able to play it. So, I mean, guys like us aren't really affected by that, but the elite class probably don't like it too much when there's tournaments there. So good luck to AC. Anybody waking up to watch tonight?
That's a little too late / early for my blood.
I need some sleep.
I was surprisingly very awake and alert for the Ryder Cup weekend.
I tried
shot out of bed.
I tried staying. I was staying up, so I would go to sleep at like 2:30 for Thursday, Friday, and then so I tried staying up thinking that they started at 1:30.
On Sunday morning?
Sunday morning.
Singles?
Yeah, and it was like I'm like looked at my phone and it was like 2:30. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? So I crashed out and woke up probably around 5 and watched a couple hours.
Unreal.
Kenny says he's got a video of Jake Owen from Pebble coming in hot. Could mean a lot of things. guys
Should
take
give
a
a
note?
shout out to Lexi Thompson. She's playing the PGA event next weekend.
Yeah, what are
She
your
has
thoughts on that?
sponsorship exemption. I'm okay with it. I think it's kind of cool. I don't see why not. We talk all the time about how they should combine events. Like whatever, not going to hurt anything. It's not like she's a shitty amateur playing. Like she's a top of the world golfer in women. So I don't. Yeah. Can she get paid for it, or like will she get paid if she gets a paycheck? I don't know how that.
What tees is she playing from?
I'm guessing she would have to play from the same tees.
If that's the case, I'm very interested in it. If not, I think it's more of a publicity stunt.
She wouldn't play from different tees. If she's playing the tournament, she'd play from the tournament tees.
That's what I'm hoping for. It'd be really interesting to see.
She's the 7th woman in history.
Golf is one sport where I do think that, well, I shouldn't say like the top. You never know though. Like put the top women in hockey versus the top men in hockey. It's not going to be close. Pretty much any other sport, but golf, I feel, well, I shouldn't say the only sport, but like a major sport.
It's a closer gap.
Where, well, yeah, the gap is much tighter, I think.
Mm-hmm. It'd be cool if she made the cut. I think I would follow that.
Yeah, I think so too. We got confirmation. Chezzy says they're playing from the same tees, so I will also be checking in on
Playing
that.
from.
It's next weekend.
All right, let's talk about some Ryder Cup, and we don't have to spend a shitload of time on this because I think golf Twitter's kind of covered the majority of it, but I think it is still interesting to discuss a few things, give our comments, our takes, what things could be improved, and I don't know. Like I said, we don't need to beat any dead horses right now that have been talked about over and over, but I think if we can get a couple interesting takes out of this, then we'll consider it a win. So we got a couple different topics here to discuss. And if you're in the chat tonight, chime in on what you think your pick would be or your opinion is. And let's get to her. Start with the first one. What was the shot of the weekend from your guys' eyes? Drums.
I have a tough time picking one. I think I'll probably land on Vic on the first hole, chip in birdie. Like just right off the hop, he was their best player. He didn't get the most points generated from the team, but I think he was kind of the rock star from them and kind of started it off on the first hole. Big putt. I guess it was a chip actually. Chip in. Yeah. To get things going, and then just carried it on with an absolute shit hauling in the next round. So he played amazing. We talked earlier. He's kind of hands down currently number one in the world, and I think it's a pretty good gap between him and two. In my mind, just the way that Scotty finishes and the way he putts, and even his performance in the Ryder Cup. I think this kind of proves the separation of where they're at currently. But there was so many good shots. But I think Vic starting things off super hot would be my favorite.
Kenny says Rory spinner a wedge on 17. I'm thinking that was from the bottom down there. Left side of the green. Vic's ace on, yeah.
Vic's
Well,
putt.
17's par 3, right?
What's that? Yeah, par 3.
He must hit a wedge off the tee because that's what.
And it was a
did he
cannon in the air.
Which one are we talking about?
He got it, yeah, because they're way below there on the left side of the green, and he hit it up there. It just looked like effortless. I think the majority of the team was watching too when it happened, and one of the guys panned over to him, and he's like, wow. Or maybe it was the guy who's playing against or with, one of the two. I think it was the guy who's playing with. Fitzpatrick, I think it was, and he's like, wow. Because I think Fitz was on the green, had a birdie putt, and then Rory was down there chipping up for birdie, and so he kind of guaranteed the par there, but it was quite the shot.
Oh, I thought he
Reggie,
stuck
what do you
it in
got?
there for birdie. I thought he hit that shot for the tee.
Oh, 17's a par 3.
Yeah, I thought that shot was from the tee. I don't know. I didn't see that round. I just saw the highlight, but Well, probably
Unless I'm thinking of something different too. But go ahead.
the back-to-back of Rom
Nuts.
chipping it on 16 and then making that putt on 18 was like wild. Like it was actually insane that happened. It was just,
And it would be a completely different Ryder Cup if they didn't win that match, right?
oh yeah, definitely. And
Yeah, that was
he
a
absolutely
big moment in that.
Absolutely
And, like,
stole it.
right before that, Vic made that putt on 18. Like 20 minutes before that, to
Vic's the
tie
fucking
his
man.
match, and then Rom chips it on 16, and then that was probably the craziest probably 25 minutes of the whole weekend, I would say. When Vic made that putt on 18, Rom chipped in, and then Rom stuffed one to like 10 feet on 17, and Scotty landed it like an inch from the hole to go one up again. Like he put it to 4 feet after Rom put it to 10. And then Rom made that eagle putt to saw it off on 18 when they tied. Like it was just like those two went back and forth heavy on the weekend. Rom and Scotty.
Yeah.
So what's your shot?
I would like it would have to be that eagle putt. But it was kind of a fluky putt, but it kind of changed the whole tides of the whole weekend. Like how it hit the hole and bounced up, like that's
Yeah, that was wild. He couldn't even believe it went in.
No.
And then Lowry running around the background.
He was doing that on Vic's putt too.
He's a menace.
He is a menace. Were you guys lagging there, or was it my computer?
I think it was you.
Oh, okay, good. I think so Drums, I'm with you for the first one. Mine, I kind of have three here. So the first shot of the day, Vic chipping in on one. I think that was just how it all started, and it didn't stop for 2 days. And then the last shot to finish it, Tommy's drive on 16 after Ricky put it on the water. Didn't even think about going left and staying safe. Put it right on the green. Eagle putt, Rory's toast. Ryder Cup's over. Because the Americans were actually making a little mini push there too. Like if Ricky would have won that match, it might have been a totally different ending to that whole thing. Whatever it was, but Tommy, that was quite the drive on 16. But my favorite shot was Tommy's chip in from the rough, and he looked back before it even went in the hole.
So good. That look back was amazing.
That was such a cool shot.
Was he playing with Rory at that time?
I don't even know what was happening. I think I just saw the highlight of it, honestly.
Yeah, that was them and were they playing Jordan and Justin? I think
so.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that sounds right. Who is your guys' MVP of the Ryder Cup? And we'll hear from us, then we'll hear from the Instagram poll.
I mean,
Reggie?
it's got to be Vic, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rory gets 4 points on the board, and he's played amazing. I think this is exactly what Rory needed for another career kick in the ass. After that shit kicking last Ryder Cup, and he was very emotional, bawling after that loss. He kind of lost himself now. All that live and all that other dumb shit's in there too, but for him to even not be the MVP just shows how good Vic was all week. But yeah, I'm Vic 100% on this one, and then for the States, I'm gonna go Joe.
You think he was a spark for Sunday?
He was a spark.
Seems like a spark plug kind of guy. Ches asked, who would you consider to be the most electric player for Europe? Who would be the most Poulter-esque? And then he says he thinks Tommy. Yeah, it'd be a toss-up for me between Rombo and Tommy. Tommy gets the people going, but Rom just has that presence about him.
I don't know. Tommy's not really the screamer, fist pumper, rah type where Rombo's pure emotion.
Actually,
is
Justin
what
Rose is pretty
Holtz
electric on the weekend.
Very true.
He
Man, their
made
squad was so
many
good.
15-foot putts, man. Like to tie holes. Every time they went to me, he was making another 15-footer and then just like doing that big fist bump leaning back. Like it was like, what the? How does he keep doing this?
They said they need to turn that into a silhouette for his logo, but I don't know how good of a logo it would be because it would just look like a big rectangle pretty much.
Like
There's
this
no
in black. Yeah.
Lowry gets pretty fired up for sure, but he didn't do a whole lot like in his matches. He was more like a cheerleader, I thought. And
Yeah, I think for the
referee.
most part you could say that.
Man,
bodyguard.
Rory's different though, eh? Like those shots that when he just launches up those big high draws. Like that's
Phenomenal.
It's just crazy to watch. When he's dialed in with those big high draws, it's just like and Scheffler too. Scheffler just like absolutely flags every iron shot. Like everything is right at it. And it doesn't make any sense how it happens, but it happens and it's just
No, it doesn't.
He's good, man.
So good.
So Instagram,
he still bugs me. Just continues to bug me. I don't know what it is. He's got to get off that train.
The reason why he couldn't be a good match player, although he did win the match play, but that was when he was putting better. The reason why he couldn't be right now is just like there's so much momentum gained and lost in putting in match play. And he hits it so good. Yeah. And he just loses so much momentum when he can't make putts. And he actually putted. He made some big putts down the stretch against Rahm. Like he had that was a really good match, him and Rahm on Sunday.
Everybody wanted to fight Rory. Okay, so Instagram said the same thing as us. We're all unanimous. Vic was the MVP. 35% said Rory. And I think most, other than Drums, would say that Max had the MVP title for the U.S. I would say that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's quite the player, man. Pretty likable. Shows up for the big moments. Did you hear him say to his caddy after, did you feel my leg shaking? Or did you see my leg shaking?
He went on No Laying Up yesterday, or what? I don't even know what day it is, but the other day, and he was like, he's like, I've watched it maybe 10 times, that last putt, and I still can't believe that you can't pick up my leg shaking. Like that's how much it felt when I was over it. It's a good interview. Like he talks about just how much emotion and the roller coasters that you go through. It's a good listen. So check that one out if you got time to.
Speaking of good interviews, I know Patty Cantlay took a lot of shit this weekend, and warranted or not, he had some really good interviews after. And on the course, I don't think I've ever seen him crack a smile. But as soon as the round's over and he's interviewing, he's just smiling the whole time. It was just like a whole other side that I've never seen of him before. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, his stock went up in my book this week too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He showed a lot of stones. The 16, 17, and 18 that stretch to tied for the Americans and give a little bit of hope going into Sunday, that was nuts.
Of course, like I was kind of thinking, like JT didn't wear a hat on Sunday, and I was kind of thinking he made that first putt and like tipped his hat, and I was like, oh, that was actually kind of a sick gesture. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
And then he does it like 8 more times, and it's like, okay, buddy, fucking we get it. Like, quit doing that.
You're a fucking nom. But at the same time, how good was that the day before? So good was Catley. And then Joe gets in there and shit hits the fan. And then fucking Angry Leprechaun at the end of the night, like it just turned into a complete, like TMZ was there. Like things went fucking wild there for a few hours.
It did go wild. Rory's freaking.
Like that reporter, like even when I first heard the hat stuff, I was like, well, like this isn't new. I'm pretty sure I have seen him without a hat before. And why come if you're worried about getting paid? So like none of the story made sense to me either. And then he was like, no, the hats don't fit me and I look like a fucking goof with them on. So I didn't wear one. And then he gets married the next day. So 100% his wife told him don't wear a fucking hat.
I didn't even know that part.
That's what it really was.
He couldn't have a
for
hat
sure.
tan line for his wedding day.
Oh, exactly.
Who schedules a wedding the day after a Ryder Cup?
That's a psycho move. Even if you
that's
lose or win, you're getting banged up.
I'd take a week, maybe in a week after.
Yeah.
And I understand if you wanted it to be in Italy while you're there, but like, Christ, you're billionaires. Like, let's fucking stretch this trip out.
Nuts. Okay, well, while we're on this topic, let's transition to this question. Should the players be getting paid to play in the Ryder Cup? Yes or no, and
No.
why? Why?
It's the closest thing we have to like a team event, like a country event, like almost like the Olympics. I know we're back in the Olympics now, but and I think that's just you play for your country. You're not playing for money. I mean, it's not costing you anything to go there. You're just going there to play for your country. I don't think that's something you should be paid for.
Let's be honest. If you're good enough to play in the Ryder Cup, you don't need money.
You don't give a fuck.
You're not there for money. If you're good enough to play there, like you're not there for a paycheck. You're not. You've already made enough money because you're there.
Do you think Keegan Bradley like was like, no, take my paycheck for the rest of my life. Just let me in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Kenny said, is there not some sort of donation to a charity? I think they get like $200,000 each to allocate to a charity of their choice as part of their Ryder Cup thing, which is quite a bit, honestly. I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I don't think that they should be getting paid for it. I do think that by the sounds of it, the Ryder Cup is pretty. It's the PGA of America who puts it on.
I don't actually know.
Pretty sure it is, but I think their complaint was that they're just like very non-transparent with it all. And so when you think about it, like the Ryder Cup's making a ton of money. Like there's the fans there. There's 10 commercials every minute. Like they're raking it in. And so where's the money going to? I think that's the question. Like, I don't necessarily think that the players need to be getting paid because I'm on the same page. Like it's like the Olympics. It's an honor to be there to represent your country. But at the same time, it's like maybe they should just allocate a part of the profits. And not that they need it, but that's just how it should be. Like, why would somebody behind the scenes get more money than the players who are actually the ones bringing people there? That just doesn't make sense in my head. So do I think that
agree there?
Do I think that you should boycott your country like Cantlay apparently did, which I don't think he did at all. I think that was just a load of bullshit. So I don't think that that's a reason to like not go, but I do think that it's worth a conversation to be like, where's the money going? Can we get more to like the junior programs or something along those lines? Like that's, I think what's missing there is just like the transparency of it. So yeah, that's my 100%. Take on it. I think we're all in agreement though that the players don't really need to be getting paid. That's not what it's about. So
fine if you pay the caddies, everything. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and those guys get treated pretty damn well there too. So, like, did you see Europe's dressing room? Oh my god!
I was just gonna say that was unbelievable. And Sevi had his own locker. That was pretty sick.
The whole setup, man, was first class. That course was absolutely perfect for that. Like, it looked like the most fun course to have that event at.
They should play the Ryder Cups there every year or every second.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing. Just
I agree, actually.
Just adjust the times.
Yeah. It's too bad it has to go. Actually, but Bethpage is going to be sick. 2025.
Bethpage will be sick. Rumors of T-Dub and Sergio captaining, maybe. They also might be playing, though. Who knows?
I don't think so.
I'm going to say Sergio's not.
I wouldn't count out Tiger ever. No. Okay, what do we got next here? Captain's picks. I don't really think we need to get into that. I think that the U.S., in my opinion, really shit the bed on who they brought there. I think they left some key guys at home just because of the live prejudice against them. They blame it on them not being able to see them in really competitive events, but I think that's just a load of bullshit, honestly. And I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on the captain's picks?
I guess
And captains
more.
overall, I guess.
I guess the captain overall. I don't think that man made one great decision for like the past 2 years. ZJ, I don't think he should be allowed near a Team America event, no matter what the sport is, ever again. Should be banned.
Just be on Team America World, please.
Yeah, like just the weirdest shit. Like sitting those guys for the first round made 0 sense off the hop. And then he's fucking wandering around on the tee boxes like an aimless idiot, getting kicked off. Like, and then telling them what clubs to hit. Like I would have lost my shit on him if that was me.
And
then on the
JT did kind of.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, Luke Donald was the exact opposite in every possible category. Absolutely killed it all week.
True.
And they're chanting 2 more years at the end of it at the celebration.
Right.
The players were chanting that.
For him?
For Luke Donald, yeah.
Oh, nice. So he will then, probably, right? You'd think.
I don't know if they're allowed to.
Yeah, I've never. I don't think it's happened before, has it?
If Trevor Immelman isn't 2 years in a row, then I don't know if anybody ever could be.
True. The players loved him.
Yeah, man. Guy's epic.
The funny thing is that Donald wasn't even supposed to be captain this year, hey?
Right.
Henrik was, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be King Henrik.
Huh.
I think he would have made a sick captain as well.
For sure.
George, you're going to hate this, but I think JT went up in my books again, other than that Sunday round. He played really well, and I felt kind of bad for him actually playing with Spieth. If you watched any of those matches, man, Spieth was out to lunch so hard, man. JT was basically 1-on-2, and he was just battling, and he was hitting some clutch shots, man.
JT was making par though.
But man, he played good. I don't know. Except for that Sunday, I didn't like that shit, but.
Every time the camera showed JT, he's going like that every time. It looked like a replay just over and over again. But it was just like nothing even happened on the hole. Like he made a 2-footer and he was doing that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He'd get up and down for par from the side of the green and he'd tip his hat to the
Too much.
Kind of funny, kind of goofy. What did we predict? Who was going to play the least? I said Ricky had a chance of playing the least, and he did.
He did.
That was sad.
I also can't remember who I picked.
I don't remember either.
I said Ricky and Rose. So I was dead wrong on one.
Reggie, you ended up winning the unaudited pool of ours. It was a tight one. What was the final scores? 26.5?
Yeah, 26.5, 26, and 25.
Pretty tight.
Like,
so Reggie won the pick'ems for the podcast. I think I had the closest prediction for sure. Drums also took your up, so he didn't really say. I think you said it was going to be tight though.
You said field goal.
Yeah.
Roscoe said field goal.
Roscoe said field goal.
Oh, Roscoe said field goal.
I said piss pounding. And although they almost came back a little bit, it was a pretty big piss pounding, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. 16.5 to 11.5?
That's a pounding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, big question. Team Rory or Team Joey?
Right off the hop, I said I was kind of in between. I didn't really know the whole story there. And honestly, as things progress and more things come out about it, I'm still kind of in between. I think that Rory was probably fair to call out Joey. I don't think Joey needs to be doing that kind of shit as a caddy. But at the same time, like he was fired up. He'd been hearing about it all day from the crowd to Cantlay, their hats. I probably would have done the exact same thing or more. So I can't really fault Joey there. Plus, I love him. So if I had to pick one though, I would probably lean towards Joey, honestly, because he never really got into Rory's way at all. Like he wasn't in his line. Rory was getting ready to putt and stuff, and it was kind of an excessive celebration. But I'd still take Team Joey. I think that Rory kind of blew it out of proportion a little bit, all things considered.
Yeah.
You guys?
I know where Drums is going. He's going Team Joey, but I'm going to say I'm kind of in between two. I think that if I was putting like that with an important putt to tie the match after a guy just went birdie, birdie, birdie to even have a chance to making it, and then I have to putt after that, and his caddy's running around screaming at the crowd before I even putt, I'm probably pretty pissed off too. I probably would say something, but that's where it would probably end. So Rory was right in the beginning, but I think he took it too far in the end. Like Rory was right to be pissed off at the start, but he took it.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on this one, Reg. If there was nothing that happened in that night, I would actually be on Team Rory with this. But now I'm more split in the middle, just because like that's as silly as Joe was with the whole thing. Rory was out to lunch as well. Mm-hmm. But like Joe, he looked like Joe Biden out there, just fucking wandering around. He did like an entire lap of the whole green and then went back to Rory. Like it was fucking 4 minutes that he was wandering around. So for sure Rory should be pissed. I would have been pissed.
Definitely. And then
but yeah, like you said, that's where it should have ended right there.
I like what he said the next day too. I didn't speak to Joe. Just completely shoots that down. The TV's trying to play it off, and they haven't even talked to each other yet.
Yeah.
Like
that picture of those two with Joe with his hat off and Rory's just like standing there looking up at him. It's just like the craziest picture ever.
Well, and then Cantlay's 5 miles behind him doing the walk off behind, but like staring at him. Like it's just,
he said, I didn't see anything.
I didn't see it.
He's just right in the peripheral.
Staring right at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Cantlay, I think with that, another thing that was kind of spun out of proportion, I think Cantlay probably meant like he didn't really understand what was happening there. Like
for sure.
He saw them probably fighting, but he didn't really get into it with them.
He's like,
I think that's probably what he meant by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do the last one here. We'll do fix your divots segment, and then do you guys have segments tonight? I know Drummy will for sure.
I don't, honestly.
I got one.
I'll go to the drawing board. So let's get to the last part of this. Do you say we want to fix your divots?
No, let's wrap this one up. So what do you guys think needs to change going forward? Like anything that you were pissed off about? I got some things from Instagram here too from people. And you can kind of tie it in with your craziest take on the Ryder Cup. So maybe give a few things that you might change. And then just give like a take that, if you have one, that's kind of crazy and out there that most people might not agree with.
I can't actually believe, like, from a pure viewing perspective, I was so mad on Sunday. Like, I was actually like, my blood was boiling. Those fucking commercials, man. Honestly, that was probably the most painful sporting event that I've ever watched.
It was.
Ever. Like, Maxwell makes that shot, and then they go to an interview, and then they just go to a commercial. Like, how about everything that's happening that's determining what's going to happen in the Ryder Cup behind this right now? No, let's go to a commercial. And then, like, 2 shots after, they go to playing through. Like, it was like, what are we even doing here? Like, can't they just take money from a sponsor and just play the last hour out without commercials, like every other sport in the world has done?
I don't get it. Really don't get it.
Like, what are they doing? That's like their biggest stage. Like, I don't know, man. That was
The crazy thing for me with that, and somebody mentioned in the comments here, but how has the Masters mastered the whole thing? Like the app, the coverage, everything about it. Like, why doesn't somebody fucking reach out to the Masters and say, hey, give us some tips here, bud? Like, you'd think that they would have each other's cell phone numbers. The people who are putting on the Ryder Cup and the Masters probably know each other. The Masters is selling sandwiches for $2 each, and their coverage is 1,000 times better than any other golf event. So they must
Again, make
either
it
they have a money tree on a certain hole, or I don't know what it is, but reach out to the Masters and just say, hey, help.
make an option for an app or whatever that you can pay zero interruptions.
Just
Like,
don't
you know,
hire the
on
Canadian government to do it.
but you know, like on like the NHL app, you never got the commercials because it was like different advertising or whatever weren't actually paying the NHL app, so they couldn't advertise on there. And you would have like segment or something in between. But the PGA still owns all their own coverage, so you can just continue playing it because those cameras are still running. Cut out the voices, continue with the shots or whatever's going on. If that was $30 for the weekend, easy buy.
Does it even have to be 30? How about 5?
But
Imagine
I'm just saying, like,
$5
if
for every
it
person.
was $30, I'm buying it.
I
Still.
would pay it. Yeah, I would have paid it on the weekend. Like, it's just unbelievable.
Like,
Yeah.
but tie it together, because the Ryder Cup has got to the point where, like, they've kind of figured out their YouTube channel finally, where they're having like interviews on there. They're live before the event. They have the
Yeah.
best shots. Like, they have a lot of videos on there, a lot of content for people who are wanting to get excited about the Ryder Cup. So instead of just putting that out there for free, maybe like charge that, mix it into the same app. You can watch it all together. Like, this isn't rocket science here. It's not. It just drives me nuts. Like, these people live in the fucking Stone Age with this stuff. Like, what year are they in?
Especially with like Stike was saying on the weekend, like he wanted to see. I don't know. It might have been Snoop actually was saying like Rory played those first 2 matches and dominated them, and you hardly saw any of his shots. Fitzpatrick was going off, but you didn't see like anything Rory was hitting. Nothing. Like, there has to be a way that you can follow the guys you want to see.
Which is
you surprising. At the
surprising.
Masters.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can watch an amateur at the Masters. You can watch every shot of his. And you can't do it at the Ryder Cup.
I think the advantage that the Masters has, though, like, just thinking about this now, is like they have that whole area every year. They can improve on the same course, different camera angles here, different stuff going on here. Like, if you talk to somebody who actually went to the Masters, like, it's so much different there than we see on TV, because it's all about the production. They're experts at it. These tournaments, they change every year, so I understand that. But like, they can
a Ryder Cup, they know quite a ways in advance when it's
like
going to be
6 years at least,
right?
And
so
the U.S. Opens
do some scouting tournaments or something. Jesus,
they know where the 2036 U.S. Open is right now. Like,
right?
Yeah.
Chez is right. Lots of people pay a lot of money to watch the UFC fights. Probably some in this chat too, but I would be paying money for good coverage, and not only just like to watch it live, but to be able to go back, certain shots, certain players, interviews, put it all into one spot and charge people for it. Like, you have it all already.
The only fight I've ever paid for was Conor Floyd Mayweather.
How much was that?
60. It's fucking stupid. I got sucked into all the hype. It got me. Yeah, really. Other than that, I don't have anything that I can think of to change. There's a lot of people that are like kind of hating on the tournament this year, with I think more so just because we kind of can predict the outcomes based on history and how long it's been. But who gives a shit? Like, just sit down and enjoy the view. Like, what does it really matter?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't read the whole article, no.
That article was messed, man. Like, I mean, he had some points. Like, it kind of kept me interested for half of it. But then he's like trying to say that it's like rigged or something.
Yeah.
I didn't understand like what he was getting at even.
I think they need to change Sunday.
Why?
It can't be random.
Picking out
Yeah,
the matches.
Like the captain should pick it because there's storylines that happen throughout the week that you need to match up against each other. Like Rom should have been playing Koepka on Sunday.
But I mean,
that's what Koepka said.
And that's an easy change to make.
Yeah. But Numbnuts is asleep at the wheel there anyway, so what difference would that make?
Zach?
Yeah. US probably got stumped 12 zip.
A couple good surprises. Didn't realize how good Bobby Mack was. And I did not know that Brian Harman was a midget. Holy smokes, is that boy short?
And he had the big.
That caught me off guard. Because like Max isn't that tall. Max is gonna be like 5'8", 5'9", and like he towered over Harman.
Max putter's like the same size as his foot. Oh yeah, Max is short. So is Rory. Rory's like
really. Well, I knew Rory was. I thought Max was about 6, maybe. That's interesting.
Would he be? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would think he's shorter than that.
Pretty well though, eh?
Yeah. Oh, I think Max is pretty easy.
I liked him on the weekend.
Yeah, me too. And then Auberg. I think Auberg is going to be a problem going forward.
Gets paired up with Brooks. That's a tough match for the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. He's good. Like
real good. Real good.
Max is almost 6'1". I didn't think he's that tall.
Okay.
So how tall is Harman? I bet you he's like 5'6", 5'7".
Well, if you thought he was 5'9", and compared to Harman, then Harman's probably actually like 5'8" or 5'9", based on your.
I think he's shorter than that.
I would have picked him at like 5'4".
But
that's when I thought
0.9. 5'7". Oh. Wow. He looks a lot smaller than that.
It's all about it's all relative, man.
Yeah, I can't remember who I first saw those two standing next to. I can't remember who they were playing first. But both Euros were like towering over them. So I was like, Jesus Christ, what happened here?
And Harman, his putter's like the same size as his shoe.
That's a big putter.
It's a huge putter.
He's putting with a fucking toaster.
Yeah, man. Is it a spider?
I don't know.
A tarantula, maybe. One of those Australian spiders that are on the wall.
Like that thing is massive, man. It looks like a knockoff spider. Like somebody tried to make a fake. It is a spider.
I think that putter actually makes him look smaller.
It says it's, yeah, it does. It's a retail putter that he bought 7 years ago.
Just right off the rack.
It's one of those Nike SQs.
No, it's a spider.
I think if Harman had a blade putter, he would look taller.
I think so too.
Somebody reach out to him. Let him know. Daddy Longlegs.
Reggie, you got any things to change going forward?
Yeah, I said the commercials and the Sundays.
Okay.
Sundays need to be picked like a live draft on TV.
I think so too. They could really spice that up a lot. Like they just kind of like do it in the dark and then tell people. Like I get that there's a lot going on, but like have a representative from your team go and do it. Like ZJ and Donald don't need to be doing it, but like one of the assistant captains, like Freddie and Monty, like those guys go out and tell the picks, like put it on TV. Kind of cool, I think.
But yeah. They don't even have to do it live, I don't think.
Do you think they got to switch it up too? Like, do they need like a TNT panel version for golf?
Well, they got to get rid of fucking Brandel and Damon or Amon, whatever his name is. God, they're brutal. And even Isinger too. What?
Damon.
Demon. Yeah, they need to do something there. Like, I don't know. It just seems really bush league almost. Like, I don't know. From a fan's perspective here, like, it just seems really bush league.
Mhm.
Even the opening
think the
ceremonies,
problem-
like, all seems so fake. It looked like the Hunger Games almost.
I think the problem with the panel is that golfers don't really retire. Like
True.
they only go to the Champions Tour, so they're still playing all the time every weekend. Whereas
But
like
there's got to be
they
some better personalities than
they
those
got
guys.
Smiley, so like guys like that were in there and then have
Yeah,
to
but
retire
I'm saying
early.
more like of the live from crew with
Right.
Brandel and Emon and what was that Irish guy? Was that Ian Muslim that's on there? No,
McGinley.
you're right, Paul McGinley.
Actually, shout out to Sky Sports, man. They killed it this weekend. Like, I was watching the live from the Ryder Cup. Like, there was this blonde lady and another guy, and they're kind of like going live in like the amphitheater before, showing like the walk up thing there, talking to the different people there, the fans. I thought they did a really good job. It was almost like NASCAR kind of, because Sky does or not NASCAR, F1.
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 Yeah,
It was the same kind of feeling as that, and they both did really good. Actually, I was impressed with them.
Sky, like for all sports, is fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. I think over there you can't like they don't. I think it's part of like whatever the law of the land, however you want to call it. But they don't have pay-per-views. So like Sky Sports runs every UFC, but if you have Sky Sports, you don't have to pay for the UFC. You know what I mean? Like it's just part of your subscription with them. You get all whatever they show.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What's Iona Stevens? Is that the blonde there, Ches, for Sky? My crazy take here. I wouldn't change a whole lot. I do think that the matchups need to be done better, for sure, without a doubt. I also think that if the Ryder Cup ever ended in a tie, and that's how we stopped watching it, I would throw my TV out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they need to put something in place where that never happens, because
Well, it doesn't, right?
well, I guess it'd be 14.5 to 14, so they retain it, but like there's still a situation where I want to see some sudden death. If it's that tight, you don't need to retain it.
It could be tied. The Solheim was tied.
Yeah, but I think
if it was
Ryder Cup,
14-14, it would be tied. But
If it would be 14-14.
But whoever the champion is would retain it in that scenario.
Yeah. Which would be complete shit.
Yeah.
They got to throw the boys out there. Oh, that'd be sick. Playoff holes would be so sick.
do you just go straight up
imagine the nerves.
1v1?
Like
I
the
think
blue
you
chair?
do alternate shot.
Yeah.
The blue chair, we do captains put up one player and then they can't play again after that.
Yeah.
Each
Same
hole,
thing.
yeah. Max,
same
he
as
thought
what
his
we
legs
got,
were
right?
shaking there. Imagine that.
Yeah, no doubt, hey. That would be so crazy, man. Like, that would be like the best ever. The best golf hour of the entire history of golf. Versus the flip side, if it was ever a tie, that would be the worst moment in golf history. Golf Twitter would lose their minds. Like,
You know what it's equivalent to? Saying that the defending champ of the Masters only has to tie. Like, they finish 18, they're both 15 under. Oh no, you actually had to you had to beat him by 0.5. So he
It's the
wins.
exact
It's not going to be a playoff hole. It's just doesn't make any sense.
reality, like that's how stupid it is. So if there's ever a year where that happens, look out.
It happened at the Solheim.
Yeah, I know. And
everybody's so mad. Everybody's mad, but then everybody's like, "Oh, the Americans are just being sucks." No, they're not. They're they're pissed because it was a tie. Like, you didn't win. You tied.
It's the same thing as every cliche or every old saying. Like, it's like kissing your sister. Like, the tie is the worst thing in sports. Like,
Nobody
it's
likes
not
a tie.
something that we're making up. Yeah. Okay, my crazy take here is that we get rid of the President's Cup and we do the USA versus the world and do it every year.
They get
America
murdered
versus
every
the
year
world.
then.
Well, that'd be a cool one, actually, Reggie.
I go North America, yeah.
You think the States gets murdered in that case?
I think so.
Yeah.
Even still.
It doesn't make sense. Like, why is the USA the fixated country? I mean, they are like the world superpower, I guess, or they were. But like, why do they get to play in both? Why can't
Well,
Europe
I mean,
play in both?
we laid out who puts them on. So, yeah, they're going to definitely be heavy towards the States.
So what did Kenny say there? The Ryder Cup is the PGA of America and the President's Cup is PGA?
Tour, yeah.
Which, I mean, they're probably pretty tight, I would say, the PGA of America and the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Like, just put it gas the President's Cup.
No.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Why no?
I don't know.
Like, if we were included, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
the Ryder Cup wouldn't just be Europe and US every year. Like, it would be North America versus the world. What else used to do North America versus the world?
That World Hockey Championship that lived for 1 year did that. And
thought
North
there was
America
more
was
than
like kids under 23 or something like that.
Yeah, there was North America against the world.
Yeah.
What the hell was it?
I remember playing that in like a video game.
Hockey, I thought.
I think it was hockey.
Yeah.
So,
No, but
yeah,
more than just that 1 year.
I think that would be awesome. So, it's a crazy take, but that's
Like
my opinion.
Yeah, there was a team called the World on the NHL.
There was the World Championships because it only lasted.
Well, I
1
think
year.
it was just on the video game. Yeah.
It was NHL 04 and they had the World.
Yeah,
No,
I think
but
it was just on the video game.
No. Like, even a couple years ago now, like, I remember the branding for
Yeah,
North
yeah.
America.
Yeah, that was
like,
the kids under 23. That was
But no,
over
there was a
the,
world team because it had like Kopitar and Big Z were playing
Yeah, there was a Team
like
Europe,
together.
Team World.
Team Europe, Team World, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Anyways, yes, World Cup. That's what it was. It was World Cup. Is that what we said? No, it was the World Cup. TJ's right. Okay, let's do this segment here. Fix your drums is not doing well.
Dying.
Yeah, it was North America Youngstars. That's what I was thinking of.
That's what I fucking said.
But we're talking about something totally different. There was a Team World on an NHL video game.
We'll give the credit.
Anyways.
Here. Sorry, drums. What divots are we fixing tonight, Reggie? What's the peeve of the night?
Eating beans. You eating beans every time you talk on the show tonight. I did that one other show and just so got my head ripped off.
Oh yeah, that's bullshit, man.
Remember that, Drums?
Show.
I don't. But I can.
What the fuck?
imagine
Since
it
when do we
happened.
eat on this podcast? I remember it like it was yesterday.
I muted myself last time. Sorry.
Tonight's Fix Your Divot segment is brought to you by the Prairie Scratch Tour, Manitoba's premier amateur tour. As we've said in the past, it was something that was desperately needed in this province. Good competitive golf for amateurs. I would say they've improved significantly this year with high hopes for next year. Me and George said we're going to try to play an event next year. Very good social media coverage. Just it's awesome to be able to follow what the hell's going
That's drums.
on.
What?
Just super loud. Whatever that
You can hear that?
was.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Sorry.
All good. Yeah, the Paracraft Tour. Me and Joe are playing an event next year. It's great. Their Instagram at Paracraft Tour is a great follow on weekends when there is a tournament. They have live leaderboards that you can follow. They have video. Can't say too many more good things about it. It's been unreal for this province. Drums, what's the fixture divot for tonight?
This week's fixture divot comes from Derek Jensen. And the fixture divot is sunflower seeds on the greens. That is a humongous no-no. Actually, any kind of debris. Butts, seeds, bottle caps, I don't know what else can be.
Depending on what kind of butt.
But true. Very true. If you're spitting sunflower seeds on a green, you're a psycho, and you should not be allowed on a golf course, and you should be locked up.
I think you should be locked up. I was just gonna say that. That is the most psychopath move that you could ever do.
Yeah, you're a fucking cocksucker.
Honestly.
I agree, man. That's my number one on earth is sunflower seeds on the green or teas or anywhere really. Like, just don't do it. That's it.
Yeah, I used to be guilty of it. But I would always put a handful and then go to the bush and throw them in the bush. Or in the long rough. I would never, ever, ever in my life spit one on the green. I can't even imagine. Imagine just leaning over for a putt and just spitting sunflower seeds on the green. And
that's what I was just gonna say. What is going through your head where you think that that's okay to do?
Yeah.
Who raised you?
Man, even when I worked on the grounds crew, cutting greens in the mornings, you'd be picking. They'd be flying through the air when they hit the reels and shit, or they'd get stuck in the reels. Just a nightmare.
Unreal.
Don't do it. Just leave them at home. Do it after. Do it before. Do it at different times of your life. Just not when you're golfing. And if you do, don't do it on the greens. The greens are sacred. Don't put anything on there.
Settled.
Thanks to Jenner for that one. That was a while ago, so he might not remember he said it, but he did. So also shout out to Jenner for being a 2023 Blue Chair champion.
Whoop, whoop.
Not many
That's Jenner?
Yeah. Not many get that feeling. He's a good shit. Good golfer too. Okay. Oh, sorry here. Let's hear from the people. I kind of got about 8 or 10 of the best answers from people on Instagram in terms of what can change for the Ryder Cup. And so Brett Jans, Barrett, our guy Barrett, haven't seen him in here tonight, but he'll probably be listening later. And Colton Easton. Oh, was he? Yes, that's right. He had one comment up there. They all said less commercials and better coverage. Daniel Langley, I think that's how you say it. He said, make it every year. I'm with him. Adjust and make it every year. Ches, our guy Ches, he says, how could you make it better? You can't. Boomer, he said, replicate the Masters broadcast, different matches on different channels. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
C. This was my favorite one. This is very interesting, and I think probably will never happen, but would be amazing if it did. And this is from Steve DeRoche, son of Don. Captains play as the 13th match for singles.
Or they do the tie break.
But then we wouldn't get to see it every year. Every year, the 13th match is the captains.
Yeah.
That could be to guarantee it's never a tie.
That'd be unbelievable.
That would be unbelievable, actually, because then you'd have to be more strategic with picking captains too, like somebody who's kind of But the issue there is that the captains like are so involved in the matches and stuff, like following them and everything.
Yeah, it didn't work.
And picking their clubs out for them on the tee box too.
Chris Mearns. He said have Canada compete 3 teams. Would be some
I think we're gonna get shit kicked there.
Yeah, we'd get shit kicked
Yeah.
for one, but it'd also be tough to figure out who's playing who and when and who's getting the points. Eric Rutherford said less amount of matches per day, build more hype around the matches or the matches taking place. What do you guys think of that one?
I was thinking more.
More.
I would go Thursday as well, if possible.
Mm-hmm.
It does at times seem like there's a lot going on, hard to follow, but at the same time, like there's only 8 players on the golf course or 16 players on the course. Like,
no, 8.
oh,
only 4 matches per session.
Yeah, but they're two guys per team.
2 per.
Oh, yeah.
Reggie's struggling with the math tonight.
Dusty
Dusty Dick said, end the live bank. No, that can't be right. Ban. He said ban. I put bank. And the
There's
live
no ban. Koepka played.
I think he means like unwritten ban.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue going forward. So,
what was with? Did you see Koepka's pick he posted on Twitter there? Team Smash.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good, actually.
That made some waves. Stakey, this is a good one. He said, "Leave Rory at home."
Ooh, I think that was a shot at Reg.
That was Brent Stakilo.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. And Dave Michaletsky, the last one here, he's with us. He said, get rid of the blind picks for the singles.
Love it.
Tomorrow.
At least do that one.
Yeah, it's such an easy one to change. Last thing to add on that, and then we'll get into the segments here. If you're watching, press the little button that looks like this. It looks like a little thumb, whether you're watching live or otherwise. Very easy, cheap, and actually free to do, and it helps us out maybe, but you'll get some good karma, I think, if you do that. That's a good way to just, as other people say, just smash those likes. Hey, Reggie? Actually, I'm not going to say that. Whenever somebody says smash those likes, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So just do it. Easy, free to do, and we appreciate it. So Drums, what's happening in the golf world nowadays? What's the segment? Around the world?
Around the greens?
Around the greens.
So I got a few things here. Long driver, Kyle Berkshire, hit a record 579-yard drive on Monday.
In his living room?
No, on a course.
Oh. Didn't he get the top ball speed too yesterday?
That was on Monday. No, that was on the weekend. And then on Monday, this was on a live course. He hits the drive. 2 holes later, he breaks the record that he had 3 days for ball speed of 239 with a speed of 241.7.
Wow.
This guy is an animal.
How old is he?
I think he's 28. 6'3", 215. Like, he's not like a huge, thick boy. Like, he's, I mean, probably shredded, but like, it's not like he's throwing.
I think he's like the perfect size for that.
Yeah.
Any bigger, he'd be too heavy and not as flexible. Like, he's like the perfect specimen for a long drive. 579 yards, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine when Happy Gilmore was hitting those drives and it was like, he hit it 400 yards. Like, this guy just hit it 179 past that.
What's number 5 in Dauphin? 560?
Oh, it's under 500. 7's like He drove 7 green.
That's so gross to think about.
Was it fast? Like downhill?
I
Had to be some
It
wind.
didn't-
There's no way you
it
just hit a
really
ball
didn't give
5-7.
much. Yeah, it didn't really give much more info into like conditions, that type of shit. But still, that is
That's
absolutely nuts.
crazy.
Just think
PGA
about
Tour rookie. Sorry,
just think about that. Think about how good it feels when you catch one on the screws and it goes like 270, 280. That's half of this. So you hit the best drive of your life. You put it on a tee in the fairway. You hit the best drive of your life again, and that's where he is.
nuts. PGA. What?
That's so crazy. 579 yards. Like that is like. Oh man.
Good now? Every time I go to
That's-
talk, one of
okay.
you fucking idiots keeps talking.
579 yards, man. Like
Yeah.
you can't even wrap your head around how far that is.
That's
How
what I
do you
mean.
hit a golf ball that far?
It's nuts.
Like we just say numbers and then we don't really comprehend what it is. Like, for example, $34 trillion. Like that's 1,000 billions. You know, like the difference there is so big that it just sounds like numbers, but it's like it's nuts. 579 is clinically insane, and not even would never have thought that.
Okay, this next one I'm going to get to here before I get interrupted. PGA rookie Ben Griffin. I haven't heard of this gentleman before, but he had a, I think it was a TikTok, go viral over the weekend where he was breaking down his expenses per week for a week on the PGA Tour. He has it at roughly about $6,000 per week. That's his expenses. That is just with the caddy's $2,000 guarantee. Plus him.
That includes it?
Yeah. So if he makes more money, obviously that increases too. So that works out to about $210,000 a year he has on his expenses. He's played 35 events this year. He's kind of been split on those. It's kind of been about half and half, making cut, not making cut. One top 10, I believe. I was just trying to look it up, but I can't. But it was one top 10, and I think he's about 2.1 for earnings career-wise on the PGA. So, I mean, it's a good chunk of his career earnings that have gone to just his expenses. So that we've always kind of talked about it, how expensive some of their things would be. And that's kind of some figures to it. And then he said too, like, I'm not staying at like the Hilton and stuff like that. Like I'm staying at the Days Inn down the road from the course, that type of thing, where some of the other guys will be in private jets and first class accommodations the whole way. So that's kind of the cheap end of things, is you're going to be roughly about $6,000 a week on tour.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Let me get this one out to piggyback on it this year. So I don't even know what year or how they work, but we're in a new season, I think, officially now. This season, the tour introduced a guarantee. So if you've played over 15 tournaments as a full card carrier, you get an automatic $500K.
For expenses?
That's what you're just, as long as you played 15 tournaments, you get 5.
Thanks, Live Golf.
Wonder where that came from, right?
Pretty cool though still.
Honestly, the last one I had was Lexi playing at the Shriners Open. That's what I got for around the greens.
I wanted to kind of dig into that 210,000 for one. Actually, a couple things. Like you hear a guy makes $2.1 million career earnings, you're like, yeah, he must be pretty rich. And things this year and last year have probably doubled. I think inflation, they say, is like 5%, but it's more like 100% in reality. So those are probably inflated the last couple of years. But think about that compared to say 10 years at like even $100,000, like you're still over $1 million in expenses, and then you got to pay tax on half of that. So you're down to that, and plus a caddy fee, like 2.1 mil turns into $200,000 net pretty quick. Super interesting though to hear that kind of stuff. I wish we had, but at the same time, it's pretty personal to guys, I think. But I do appreciate guys like that.
What everything was,
yeah,
like what he's so. Yeah, like he breaks it all down by like hotels, and he said like it'll vary kind of week to week, but this is just an average. So he had hotels, airfare, what he spends on food. He said like I'll get breakfast covered by the tour, like they have breakfast at the course. They make sure you're getting to and from the course too. Obviously your balls, all that shit is going to be free too. So
from sponsors.
There's lots to it. Yeah.
Not the tour.
No.
Oh, good to see the PGA waking up finally after all these years.
Funny. Oh, funny.
Another good segment tonight, Drummy. I'm liking those a lot. Good way to end the show. I have a segment here. I'm going to keep it short though, because Reggie looks like he's about to fall asleep. So this is just kind of a recommendation for something I watched on YouTube the other night, and it was a Lee Trevino range session. I actually love watching range sessions from different players. Tiger's done quite a few of them at different events and things like that. Lee Trevino, he is very entertaining, very smart golf-wise, and he talks to people. He speaks their language, I found. Like a lot of guys get really technical or really egotistical. Lee is very down to earth and very helpful. And I learned a really good putting tip from the video, which have been working on the last couple of weeks, and we'll be implementing at the Ironman this weekend. So check out the video. He calls it the greatest tip of all time. I wouldn't say that it's the greatest tip of all time, but it really made me think differently about my putting stroke, which I'd never really thought about before. So I don't know the exact video. I'll try to post it under the show notes here. I say that all the time. I never remember to do it, but just Google Lee Trevino range session. I think it was like this year or last year, and it's like 30 minutes long. And if you happen to come across a different one, that one's probably got the same tip in it too. So this one's just kind of filmed from some random fan's cell phone, but a lot of good stuff in there. He talks about chipping, putting, and driving, the importance of getting fitted for like especially seniors when their bodies start to change more, how the clubs are more able to adapt to their swing more than they were before. So just a really good 30 minutes of your day, I think, if you're interested in getting better at golf.
Old Lee. He's a beauty.
Remember him at Happy Gilmore?
Yeah. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Good show tonight, boys. Lots of golf chat, some good laughs, and
Reggie made it.
We'll be happy tonight. What's that?
And Reggie made it. Didn't
die. Reggie, the last 5 minutes for him, his night has been pretty tough, but he got through it. So shout out to Reggie for showing up tonight. Appreciate it. And Drums takes out here.
Okay, we're out of here. We're out of here for you, Reg. Get well. Get some sleep. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the Ironman. Make sure the cameras are rolling.
Will do.
We're out of here, boys. Peace out. Love you, boys. Later.
Hey, quick shout out to Dom before we go. Merbu Man's in the house. Okay. Love you, boys. Grizzly Adams did have a beard. See you next week.
Later.